Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We offer stories of infidelity, betrayal, and redemption. Please like and subscribe. Cheers. Now, on to today's story. Poly relationship went south, fighting false restraining orders. I have paid my counsel and we meet later, but time is money and I wanted to narrow down my strategy. My partners of 2 years broke up with me over rent in February and have been filming me when my mental health is bad after baiting me in and filming me without my knowledge. They both have the same mental health I do, and were hospitalized in March, one of them being related to not taking her bipolar meds. When appealing a 50B in North Carolina, can I counter-sue for lost wages, emotional distress, my deposits and the rent I overpaid? Or is this a separate suit? At this point I would walk away, but they waited until I paid rent, then made up the report, so I get to be homeless for the first 10 days of the month. I can't walk away with nothing without being homeless, losing my job, and not being able to take care of me or my mental health. I know the situation is really dumb that I put myself in, but I was all in and doing it honestly. What do you think? Polyamorous relationships can be a horrible trap. I have been in a relationship with 2 others for nearly 3 years or was. My partners have been combined paying less than 50% rent, which around February I let them know that I am crippled badly in terms of my own goals and they broke up with me. Side note, we all have bipolar disorder. They have spent 2 months sitting in my lap asking if I would be friends with them forever, but going around telling everyone I have abused them for 2 years, which blatantly is a lie. I loved these girls with all my heart, and right after paying my rent they falsified a restraining order on me and I was kicked out of my home with my work PC and no car. This is the worst thing anyone has ever done to me, and it was over like $200 in rent. All of my car fund is in this attorney and I have to keep engaging them in court to not end up homeless and get my deposits and stuff back. Believe me, I will never be doing this again. I just want to go to sleep at home. I have 1 more week. Yeah, most poly relationships I've seen ended badly and dramatically. Forget that shit. Count me in that list of never ever being polyamorous again. That's after 15 years of being one. I accepted so much that I shouldn't have accepted. Something I noticed when I was trying to get out of it is that there are 0 resources for people wanting to get out. In googling monogamy, all I got were hits of why it's toxic, never mind that polyamory, or any type of open relationships have tenets in it that are abusive. I'm very against it. It's very difficult to find support if someone wants to leave the lifestyle. There's something sus about it. People think it's the next wave of relationships, but it's not. Great advice, and you are right. I am looking forward to me time. I think trying to separate myself from a failing relationship and do my own thing largely contributed to the crash and burn. As weird as this is, I thought this fantasy would last, and for me it was more about having a support network that felt real. We were all exclusive for so long and we used to actually engage with each other in conversation. A ton of therapy just to try to be better to everyone in my life, but at that point I was background noise. Turns out they were trying to dissolve everything, and I would have just walked. The why is really what kills me. It's pretty disgusting to slut shame no matter your feelings on the subject. You only achieve sounding super bitter and judgmental. Are you somehow superior in your mind? What makes you think I'm poly? I'm not and I don't want to be. I also don't care why you don't like it. What I don't like is how you call other people sluts because you don't like what they are doing. Even if someone wants to sleep with 12 people in one night or have 7 boyfriends, that doesn't give you the right to call them sluts. It's ugly behavior. You can express your opinion without it. And you are in fact also calling up a slut indirectly. Some comforting, huh? I'm not sure you've grown much if you still are that harsh on you. Saying that the only thing you were good for was sex is horrible. So you just openly admit you are a pretty shitty and judgmental person. I'm not gonna waste more time on reading your justifications for judging other people with so me one will get who arty. It's about as good of an argument as think of the children. You judge others and now I judge you, you are a bad person. Side note, you shouldn't disclose your friends' medical information on the internet. They sound like assholes, not friends, and it's not like anyone's going to know who they are anyway. It doesn't matter what their relationship is, don't disclose other people's medical conditions. If medical professionals do it, we get bent over by ethics boards. Again, nobody is going to know who they are. Definitely not anything to me anymore, but that is fair. I will remove that part, just really in shock. For anyone that misses this particular boat, the scammy roommates are bipolar. I swear karma is always looking out if you are paying attention. GENERAL, cyclone. Stick to your guns, do what is right, and don't play foul. Even when it seems like the world is against you at the worst of times, stand by the truth. Anything and anyone worth keeping will help you weather the storm. People who care talk to you and not about you, and honestly anything not said to you are the whispers of cowards and essentially valueless. Emotion is the language of some and action the language of others. The second is more valuable. It's okay to cry, but always have a plan of action. Keep your chin up, focus on you, let people talk shit. Water off a duck's back. The moment you can pull away from the worst situations in your life, you are the most free, and no amount of material possession can replace that. You would be surprised how fast you can land on your feet. Karma is swift, and if I can lose everything I have earned in almost 3 years in a few weeks and immediately get everything I need to be happy and continue my life with more purpose, then it must be real. It's sad how sometimes people forget about all you have done for them and attack you, but try to remember them at their best. Oh, and pity them when karma plays out for them too. Liars need a chorus to validate their truth. Stand by what you know is right, and the truth may literally set you free. Beloved, never avenge yourselves, but leave it to the wrath of God, for it is written, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord." Romans 12:19. Freedom rocks. Amen 30. I thought karma was the energy stored after our life to help break the cycle. What you're talking about is real. But it's not karma. That's a specific Buddhist/Hindu concept which you're misattributing. Karma is a concept in Jainism, Sikhism, Taoism too. In all of these practices it is something that affects one's current and future life, as well as the nature and quality of future lives, samsara. Oh, and Western pop culture naturally has a similar I guess too, but yeah, thanks for the lecture I guess. It matters because what you're talking about is real. But it's not karma. You don't study cats while calling them dogs. Is it weird that the worst breakup of my life set me free from a horrible situation I couldn't see? So tomorrow makes 1 month of living alone again. My partners and I broke up in February due to financial troubles. I don't regret being there for them, especially when I was the primary income maker from November until almost February. Not throwing stones, but the depression got the better of them and I had to work too much overtime to attend to them emotionally. I was scared of losing our home and what might happen in terms of feeding the animals and debt. At about 60 hours a week, my input ended at around the 11K mark. I used my car and school savings to cover the bills. Shit, still managed to pull off Christmas for them too. I was in love. I don't regret what it took to provide for us all. What I do regret is not seeing the signs. Never a thank you, just the phrase, "Well, you are an adult and that was your decision." It was always, "How horrible am I for even questioning them," and admittedly I was very troubled in the beginning but have improved significantly. In hindsight, I was not the only person who was horribly abusive, and really how it ended, it feels like I was the one mostly being mistreated. Should have left before renewing when they proved they can't stay employed, guilt trip me constantly, and barely get out of bed so they can underachieve in college. My degree has been on hold for the relationship due to the expectation that as much as I have invested in them they might help me with the car or school, or at least split the bills fairly so I can. So we broke up after Valentine's Day. A real thrill there too. I picked my own gift online and got a garbage gift for less than $40. Paid for this out of the joint account. They then accuse me of stiffing them less than a week later, so we do the math. They are wrong, and haven't taken the car payment and insurance out ever, which was agreed upon because it's in their name and they need it for work and school. They tell me then that if this is an issue they can just get me evicted. Advisory warning, I was very ugly here too. As a person with severe depression and PTSD that has in fact slept outside and in shelters, this pushed me into screaming. I have never threatened them with anything more than exposing the bullshit of their actual actions. I honestly can't even look at them after this out of shock. So now I really start distancing myself, and they power trip. They demand I move my workstation into my room as I have been paying 60 to 80% of the rent on average for as long as I can remember. March comes, I ask plainly, hey, can we sit and do rent? I am almost ready to buy a car and the budget means a lot to me. They insist we close the joint account and I just hand them money, absolutely the duck knot. I declined and they tell me we have been filming our fights for months and we will get you evicted. Wow, okay then. I have seen them do things that could very well have them committed but would never ever film them at their worst as leverage. I loved them, and I thought they loved me too. So I can't keep this up, as I am losing money and they called me a loser with no direction right before my birthday in January. You know, after depleting my savings and staying employed through winter during a pandemic. Oh, and casually they decided, oh well, the last few months of rent don't count. They do when you are fired for not showing up over and over. What is it, 2 and 3 jobs lost each since I have known them respectively. Not really expecting help as it's never been a thing. This is where things do get really ugly, and as nasty as my actions were, I will own them here like I did in court. I bring up rent at the end of April because again they are dodging it like the plague. They start laughing in my face about what I will pay and how I will do what they want. So the screaming on both sides is on. One of them jumps face to face with me, pump fakes hitting me with her hand, then a glass water pipe in a table. So I get up and start walking away and she runs to slap her hand on my mouth. I panic and push her. She faints. She has a medical history of it, to be fair, and sometimes passes out when standing up too fast. The other partner starts screaming, "Duck you, I'm calling the cops." Mind you, their cameras were rolling through the threats on me too, them laughing and everything. I'm in shock, so as I am checking on the girl on the ground, the other is on the lawn shrieking. I go to the door and tell her, look, come in and decide if we need EMS first. She does, and the gal on the floor is lucid and insistent we don't need help. The girl with the phone then starts a rant that small women can do what they want and I should have restrained. I pointed out she threatened my person and goaded me into the situation, and the story changed to, oh, he did this to hit you. Really? So I leave my room for 10 minutes because I'm spinning, and in my mind they finally have something to blackmail me with. Separate rooms since October is a great sign. I look up how long I would go to jail for a CDV and if it will get me off the lease. 7 to 10 days sucks, the lie sucks more. But this shit was all a testament to how much I love them, and clearly the lease and things have always been more important to them. They called 911 on their own claiming an accident, and declined me turning myself in. Shit is really awkward. Side note, during the whole extortion attempt they have been trying to be more sociable and make friends online. Amazing how fast you are texting books to people, saying nothing to me and going to work but not bringing home money. Insulting to think I'm that stupid. During the interim between rent payments we finished a huge garden together. I ordered the soil around $500 and spent the week carting it downhill and spreading it alongside them. The whole day I try to casually talk to them, and they respond to bitch and hoe back to their phones. Mind you, at this point all of my friends have made a point to keep visits minimal around them here for almost 1.5 years. They treat me and all of my associates as second-class citizens, but think I spoil those relationships. On the 28th, I have again been ignored for a week, so I pull 200 back from the joint account and text them that my math doesn't add up and if they can send me my error I will replace the funds. They disappear for a week. No feeding the animals, no talk of rent, silence and coming to get clothes. They have the only car and we are running out of food and debt. I ask them about rent the second time calmly when they are again taking things. I ask if they want the lease or should I keep it because this is clearly bad for us all. They tell me that rent is paid, and then go to the sheriff's office to file a restraining order knowing it's an instant eviction on me until court while I am at work and again paid about $1,500 in rent. Court happens, and oh look, a new male friend is there. I honestly believe this was happening when we were all still dating, especially considering how jealous they were over me. Legit couldn't ask a girlfriend to take me to a drive-through without disloyalty coming up. Case happens, they show up with a stranger and edit that tape down to the push and one of them gets the order. I get to take only what fits in my car and never return. They locked up all of the animals I helped raise and had a dude sitting with them in their room. Congratulations on being the biggest pieces of trash on the planet. I literally was trying to sit with you and help you realize that proof of income is what you need to keep it all, but hey, this hurt you idiots more than me. I put it all in for their security and happiness. Sold my car and put 60% down on our home. Put about 40% down on their car. They never even looked at this until after we broke up. Oh, and then decided absolutely everything was theirs when I questioned them. I mean, go to work or crack a half-baked plan to hurt me and keep it? I was the glue holding it all together, and they have treated me so badly for so long that I am not surprised by any of this in the end. They take, and only give grief and headaches. Spineless demands and childish plots to enforce them. Here's why you should be the bigger person though, surprise happy end. Karma man. The town they live in is small and I have had quite a few people enlighten me on the details of this great plan. Apparently the mysterious stranger is non-monogamous poly, his social media is full of pick-up tips for girls, and every photo is just girls that look like these two. He also has family on a police force in a neighboring county. This explains why the girl I pushed got off touching me first and had no bruises and still won. Not saying what I did was by any means okay, but an isolated incident where I had already got my own place and car before court? We should have no contacted, duck if I want to see you either. Also, the rental company hasn't sent me the lease to sign over, so they have likely failed proof of income. Magically, my eviction was the week of their birthdays, willing to bet dude was there the day I was gone. Convenient, right? I don't want to laugh too hard, but if you cunts are still spying on my Reddit, haha, way to duck yourself. You let a dude off Reddit isolate you because he wanted to roll through for the occasional threesome. You aren't special to him, you are part of a collection, lol. Your bullshit extortion attempt on me failed, and regardless of the lie I have to carry, you coming near me is terrible for you too. That is a blessing for me, so thanks. Good luck paying for the car, storing all of that stuff and housing the animals. You don't have work history or savings really, the moratorium on rent ended before court so you are getting evicted. Oh, and good luck finding a place, back pocket had to find this 1 month ago when I smelled deceit. Housing is hard to find again and you'll need first, last and security deposit. Better start actually going to work. You think homie is letting you and all of that shit move in? I think he's probably showing up a lot less since you gave it up so fast and now have a shitstorm to deal with. He has other people to save and hydrate for growth too. Shit, in hindsight Brian was probably less embarrassing, at least dude invested more than text messages. He probably laughs at this shit, totally pulled a threesome on Reddit and it cost you your house, LMFAO. You still think I'm stupid? Word on the street is he is every sexuality apparently, or at least you idiots believed that bullshit. Sounds like a neat speech, but a fake one to adults, lol. Dude is a Murphy with literacy, LMFAO. Hope you made dude rap it, I mean I didn't, but from the first time so. Go ahead and get checked early this time, pretty good chance of getting something again. Oh, and I guess if dude isn't there really anymore, 2 pussies may not actually be better than 1, eh? Do you know how many you are competing with? Food for thought. Oh, and dude, it's all love. I mean, the build up to court sucked, but we don't know each other, so I have no feelings about you save for thank you for freeing me. Your game is amusing to me, but that shit ain't working on adults. Hey, if it gets you laid, tell people you are a pterodactyl. You are welcome for turning these girls out. One of them hated anything inside her before me. Heads up though, they are probably already trying to isolate and exploit you. You did the smart move on ducking them and running. In my opinion, they can't really take a dick for long, as the dude I had substantially less orgasms than everyone else due to this, and one of them is a narcissistic pillow queen, and that gets old fast. Real shit. If you see me out, man, I owe you a beer for freeing me from servitude. But seriously, run. They both have huge victim complexes, and in time they will start making you the villain. If you wait too long and don't agree, they'll try to destroy your life like mine. Oh, and BC, if you catch this too, I know you thought you were instantly getting pussy with me gone. Just being honest, those 2 struggled with AIDS due to a severe hate of fat people. They have on numerous occasions talked about how you complain about your weight but eat a shitload. Girl, your boyfriend had a seizure in our house. He woke up non-lucid and attacked you while they hid and left us there. He never had to go to the jail or hospital because of me. I was the person that put thought and time into gifts for you too, and I have been in a bad place for months too, holding it all together. Think about this, have they ever asked about you without cutting you off? How much of the conversation is about them? Did they ever actually show any of the rent math they claimed? I mean, you have been cooling with us through their massive unemployment spell. By the way, they have never asked me about therapy, and the week you all thought it was fun to hurt me, I was 4 days from them meeting her. Not as my partners, as proof that all I have been talking about is finding my own values and how to try and step away from a relationship I was marginalized in since before our anniversary. Thank you and D for really trying to play tabletop with me. You put more effort in your relationship towards me than I ever got from either of them in ours. Really though, how much do they talk to you without complaining or asking for something? So do you think dude is more important after all you have done to help them? My eviction doesn't count against me, as I was forced out of my lease. I already have my attorney fees back, 20% on a car, a house of my own. My job is still secure, and man, I forgot how much I love talking to strangers. Man, it's so nice to have women friends again without guilt. Truth be told, I have seen and interacted with more people in the last month than in years of wasting time around you two. Oh, and please both of you get checked for a severe personality disorder. You don't own me, never have. I loved you with all my heart and fell apart waiting for you to acknowledge me for more than what you want. You can't blackmail or slander me because I have droves of people who will go to bat for my character. Sorry you forgot about the fact that I'm an asset, but the streets welcomed me back with open arms and a party, figuratively speaking. I'll always love you, but now my love for staying the duck away from your bullshit is much greater. Moral of the story, don't try to entrap people. Step away from the duckery if you can. Sometimes you get cornered and screwed, but that's life and it's a learning experience. If you think something is afoot, save your money and bide your time, and give the stupid enough rope and wait and they'll hang themselves. I didn't want the eviction, but if it means freedom it was worth it. Watch me have the car paid off and be back in engineering school by next spring. Bet on me. Edit. Oh yeah, and on an additional life lesson based on word of mouth, we are in the rural south, far from any major city or port. There no MDMA out here. Should have thought about where you got it from and tested it. You can snort Molly, congratulations, you just ducked its inbred cousin, meth. You know who has never done that? Me, Dana, Carl, Alex, and I would even bet Mike. You know the addicts and junkies you look down on? Look at you raising the bar. Just another feather for that victory cap. Have a nice life. Did they ever love me at all? Long read, but your opinion is appreciated. Did they ever care at all? I have been told I was the monster ruining everything so long I thought all the fault was mine, so I kept staying in to try and make it right. Was I stupid for not preparing to combat them back? I had basically everyone in my close vicinity turn on me, and the fault for every negative moment in a 3-year relationship was thrown in my lap. My former partners, with the help of 2 people that were regular guests in my home and a stranger, all conspired to destroy my life using the legal system. I care because there are actually victims out there. People, both men and women, that need the resources the court system provides for actual protection. Oh, and there are also those who will use it to abuse you on a whole new level. COVID was hard on a lot of households, especially when yours has depression. They lost their jobs in the fall due to family troubles, and as the partner I covered the bills of us all. In January before my birthday they essentially called me a loser without drive because they were able to let go of all responsibilities and pursue their education, and I was stagnant. I was accepted into my university last spring, but COVID happened and I knew how much the nice car and big home meant to them. I was afraid we would lose it all. My savings were depleted in their absence. I thought they realized. They never really started working until the end of February after it all, and I broke it off because of that. We have had some horrendous fights where they have called me a junkie, a pedophile, manipulative, punched me on more than one occasion, and driven all of my friends away from being comfortable in my home. I have said my mean shit too. I mean, when you know each other well and things are heated, you hurt each other deeply, and that had been me versus many for a long time. They charge into my room a few weeks after the breakup and accuse me of shorting them somehow. They do the math, see they are wrong, and say nothing. The following 2 months tension rises, and in March they inform me they are closing the accounts I have access to and I will be handing them money. I declined due to lack of transparency, and they tell me they have been filming our fights and can get me evicted. I am probably stupid for not conceding to that threat, but when you have invested so much into someone for so long, the heart doesn't want to believe they would extort you. You really want to believe through all the bad you have shielded them from, they would at least just hear you when you want to leave. We press on. The distance since really the anniversary last fall has been the worst. I can't remember the last time they woke up to talk to me or anything before work. Asked me to do something, or even how I was. Did they ever? It was pretty easy to keep stepping away when my therapist put it in perspective. Our fight in April was awful, and in a moment of weakness I gave them what they wanted. During a conversation where they tell me I am going to hand my rent over, I get angry and start shouting as they laugh in my face while pulling phones out. They start shouting back, and one takes a few swings at me. As I am walking away, one of them runs to put a hand on my mouth, and I turn without thinking and push her. She goes down hard, and believe me, I still hate myself for that moment. During the panic, her partner runs out immediately, calling the police on our lawn. I did suggest they make sure EMS is needed first, as this was an accident. Person on the phone comes in, and as the person on the ground is waking up and says they are dazed but okay. Person with a phone picks up the operator calling back and declines, saying it was an accident and someone fell. They then proceed to try to convince the other person of how I set this up to assault them. I am almost sick of the insinuation. I can't take this too and am still being screamed at, so I go to my room for 10 minutes. I look up how long a CDV stay is in our state and if it will get me out by eviction. In tears I tell them I am tired of it all, and if this means so much to them I will sit the 10 days in jail and they can keep it. They declined for whatever reason. Just before May, I pull $200 from out joint account and tell them the balance was off, but I will happily replace it if I am wrong. They grab clothes and leave. The day they send the rent, I get a text. An hour later his sheriff's department showed up about the fight from a week before to serve me with a temporary restraining order. I read the papers and it is an incoherent list of lies other than the push. We spent half of that time making a garden outside trying to be friendly. I am forcibly evicted the day after I pay for rent and soil. This was also the week of both of their birthdays. Court happens and they show up with the tape cut down to the push. A false narrative of how I held them against their will and prevented them from escaping. They have the only car, sold mine for the house and broke up with them when I realized they felt no obligation to repay me. We live 0.3 miles from the police station. They show up with another guy and lie heavily on the stand. One of them gets the order and I have to pack tat fits in my car and leave. They make sure dude is there and I don't get to see any of the animals I helped raise and lived with for years. I get almost 4 years for violation of a lie. Both of them were basically smirking in court. They claimed after the list of accusations that I have never threatened or hurt them. I pay for an attorney for a no-contact order so I can just go and they press it anyways. Found out from my neighbors that this man showed up the day I left and spent their birthday week in my home. Funny thing is, also got word dude is gone and they are losing the house. I was literally trying to walk and they tried to trap me so they can date other people and I couldn't. What do you think? They are running around claiming I was the cold-hearted and abusive one, but I just don't think so anymore. I would have never done this. Why not just say yes when it happened? Best to not think too much about this. Who knows? And if they said yes, could you believe them? Yeah, it's getting easier, but living near the same place and getting word that even after they screwed themselves that I am still the worst thing in the equation sucks. They both keep claiming to be saved, but never actually mention their actions to anyone they slander me to. And no, I could never trust them again at this point, but considering again the guy left, that means 4 severely incompetent people still convincing themselves that I am the bad person. I wonder why they don't bitch about him? I wish I knew before Valentine's Day. They had me buy them gifts and made me get my own. I am almost 100% sure they had been dating this person while we were together before my birthday in January. I'm glad dude was smart enough to smell BS and leave. I wonder if that bitterness is why they are doubling down on me. So do good dudes swoop in and save the day every day or in the moment? Seems like after court the magic was gone and he helped make them homeless and now can't help with their housing. Hell, apparently he isn't monogamous. They apparently found that out after he spent their birthdays with them. I'm sure they were sleeping together long before this. I'm still the asshole, and caused this apparently? Honestly, my life is actually exponentially better without them. The thing I dwell on is why go to this length? Oh well, crazy is as crazy does. In 1 year I can toss the last thing that reminds me of them. They? Who's they? I feel bad for you. Being lied about in court is awful. But I am confused. How many were living with you? 2 of them, 1 me. They dated long before this, so I should have seen it coming. It seems like you were manipulated into paying for these 2 people. Can you clear your name through the court system? I would stay far away from them. I totally agree. It's sad that I didn't see it sooner. I can't, unfortunately, due to court being over. I get to live out a lie. I mean, they could drop it in theory, but since they went this but with all of the bitterness and egg on their face, I seriously doubt it. Misery loving company and all. The relationship is over, but they just won't stop telling more lies about me. They got the house, the car, and set me up to play boyfriend with another person. That person slept with them in the house they had to have but are too lazy to work for, and they won't let me go. We can't go near each other, but they have the landlord attempting to have me help pay their rent and seem to come up with new and exciting things about our former relationship that I never knew myself. Immediately after breaking up to not pay their bills while they had been secretly dating the replacement guy, I was suddenly abusive the whole time. I also found out through the grapevine that I am racist, and a cocaine addict, so that's fun. You know, because I needed them to pay their bills instead of going on dates and trying to blackmail me with eviction. I mean, I am an addict in recovery, clean for almost a decade for opiates. Guess I had a change of heart? Don't be mad you had a weekend bender on mystery Molly, actual meth, BTW, way worse by all accounts. Oh yeah, I totally don't have about a quarter of my extended family that are black African American if it bothers you, but most people I know call themselves black here. My nephews are a mixed one I helped raise for almost a year after he was born. My niece was adopted by my sister and the daughter of her husband who is also black. We are estranged on a personal beef between my sister and I right now. If you called she would probably not have the nicest things to say about me now, but everyone in her household knows that isn't a race thing, it's an Irish twin/hostile childhood thing. Good luck having an older sis that is less than a year older than you LMFAO. Funny how the dude they were cheating with is Hispanic, probably some BS to help him save the day TBH. Oh and hey idiots, I know you still spy on me every day. The longer you don't file the papers on the house, the more you are liable for, so you know. I was evicted by the state so the contract is null and void. You on the other hand get to be evicted because you couldn't actually pay the rent because you weren't, and you will be on the hook for the remaining months on the lease. I know it's another thing you didn't think about. Fair warning, I am talking to an attorney about this attempt to cause me emotional distress and the fact that you are delaying this to do so. That is contempt of court. You had to submit proof for the lease change immediately after court. This is what you cried and lied about, have at it. Any criminal charges on you or harassment on me, this gets dropped and you make yourself homeless for nothing. I know this has been mixed messages, but I am actively being spied on. On that note, why not shitpost the guy that convinced you to set me up, put his dick in both of you unprotected and bounced? Oh yeah, can't admit that one huh? Seems like everyone has left you alone now, which is funny. I had 3 people chilling today, 2 yesterday, and plans for tonight hell. We are going to toast to surviving cancer for a friend, which I symbolically relate to surviving the toxic trap that you had me in for years. Anybody think they might get bored and actually go to work, get a life, stop blaming me for the idiocy of a very stupid plan and being used by a dude they knew almost nothing about? I can't tell if this is more funny or sad by now. The guy they had me evicted for is gone, but they are still fixated on me. Rant. I had 2 partners as of Valentine's Day this year. We all dated each other exclusively for 2.5 years. I broke up with them, as they were unemployed for 4 months essentially and never made an effort to go back to work. So instead of doing the adult thing and talking to me about signing the lease over, they started filming my depression and tried to blackmail my rent out of me with eviction. I do not take threats, so they casually set me up and filed a false restraining order immediately after I paid my rent at the beginning of the month. Super classy. Court is over, and a heavily edited tape and 2 people lying on my character means unfortunately one of them got it. They also had a new guy there, and he showed up the day I was gone. This decision was casually made the week of their birthdays to duck a stranger in my home. I'm already moved out and could only take a car full of things. The guy is gone after ducking them, as they found out after that he is not monogamous. I honestly believe they have been dating and ducking before we broke up, because they have no money but want things on Valentine's Day. I landed on my feet with a car and home of my own, and the salt is unreal. They have been running around telling people a list of accusations that are false. The plan is making them lose the house and stuff they stole, and the guy who called his family on the police department in a neighboring county, who helped screw me, is gone. They have delayed the signing of the lease for over 2 months and just made an attempt to have me pay rent there again. Idiots, I was evicted per law. I have numerous emails and calls to the rental company to prove the soft threat on that one and how long I have tried to handle this. I may actually get this lie off of me, as the rental company is guilty of gross negligence and the morons in contempt of court and emotional distress on top of having to pay the remaining rent for the rest of the year. 6 months left lol, post-eviction. Anybody else have exes so bitter that they will literally stand in the burning dumpster of their life trying to figure out how to throw a bucket of water on you? Do you think it occurs to them how incredibly immoral and stupid this all was? Why obsess over me if you won? Love putting it out there as these people and the few friends they have left are actively spying on me. They had a fun time showing my posts about depression and losing my house up until court. You know, because being sad about destitution equals manipulative guilt trip. I'm confused. Why do they care he isn't monogamous when they aren't either? They would have to be either poly or in an open relationship, neither of which is monogamy. Other than that, I'm sorry your exes have it out for you. But it sounds like you're better off without them. Edit words. We were in a polyphilic relationship, dating exclusively each other. I thought, as they are insanely jealous of me having women as friends. It's funny, because they had to be talking a while to set up the secret birthday thing and the guy going to court. Totally better without them. They are worse without me but can't accept it lol. Thank you for S new term. I tend to write stories about group marriages and this term fits those stories perfectly. Yeah, no worries. In my opinion it could work if 3 individuals decided under the right circumstances. Joining a relationship can be very bad when it turns sour with the wrong people, as they can justify doing despicable things to you and validate it with each other. I can imagine. Thank you for the new I learned, politely. Also, so I can understand better, are you and your 2 exes all men? Nope, they are both women actually. They are cheaters, so they were always trying to cover that up. It has nothing to do with you, or who you are beyond a good person. But to keep their positive view of themselves, they have to trash you. But you are Teflon. Thank you for that. I think the new claims are racist and cocaine abuser. To be honest, I can't stop caring at least a little about their mental state. I provided them the stability for one to start college and the other to almost finish for years, sell my car for the house, put most of the cash down on it and their new car. This was all to hurt me, who they have ignored for a year and it screwed them. Who the hell kamikazes their own life because you got dumped and can't just date strangers while I pay the bills? Yikes my man. You are apparently trying to apply logic and sanity to crazy. Just be glad you are no longer standing in the dumpster fire with them. No joke, right? I think it's my ego wanting closure. I mean, I was all in until the end. I have 0 contributions to show for them being in my life other than more interesting things to talk about in therapy. The rest were a bunch of half-assed cheap trinkets and things I shopped for and got myself for them to give me. The latter I kept, the rest I sold and burned. Trash fire memorial, D. Acknowledging that poor judgment was used to become involved in a bad situation can sting the ego. You will get over that. However, you have no need for closure. That has already been provided to you in a multitude of ways, including a court case. You are not entirely correct about them giving you 0 contributions. They have provided you with a hard-learned lesson and insight on how to never find yourself in the same situation again. Monogamous relationships between 2 people are already fraught with more than enough challenges without exponentially compounding them by adding additional people. Find someone that will love you for you in a healthy and fulfilling way. That is a very deep sentiment. I guess in wholesale I found myself in the absence of their love and I am proud of the person I am becoming. I guess it helps to know what you don't want and can't tolerate to help outline what you need. They slammed the door shut, so boom, on with my life. Thank you so much, I needed to hear this. I am so far beyond lost at this. This makes no sense. He was in a 3-people relationship. He broke up with them. They turned psycho, manipulative and abusive. He got kicked out of the house by court order. Their situation turned into a symphony of shit. Up is swimming in the karma. I would swap the orders of points 2 and 3. Thanks for explaining that one. I wasn't aiming to confuse anyone or be rude. I did label this as a personal vent, and honestly I thought I was pretty straightforward. Not straightforward at all. Besides the hedonism, the allowing them to have new strange partners in your home you solely pay the bills on. Everything is ducked. Get your ducking shit together, oh my ducking shit dude. Oh, we are done and I'm out, running for the hills. It was fun to discover this all at once while being forced to move out. I just stood up to them and they had all of this back pocketed for months. That makes sense. Yeah, it's bonkers for sure. I was trying to find out how to leave without an eviction and they pulled this. The house and things were kind of a sad testament to how hard I tried to even get them to notice me anymore. Edit wording. I meant your story. It makes zero sense to me. Like, it's all random babbling with no real meaning. I mean, it looks like other people disagree, but your opinion is yours, I guess. Maybe move on to posts you can follow then, eh? We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are.